War was tearing Sergia apart. Once, the Empire of Chasuble stood unchallenged, its armies and provinces stretching across the continent. But now, rebellion spread like wildfire. Kings, chieftains, and warlords carved out realms of their own, and even the Empire's most loyal provinces were restless. As the War of the Crowd commenced, the fate of the continent would hinge not only on armies and generals, but on powerful relics from a forgotten age. The 13 imperial arms. During the reign of the 21st Emperor Harold I, the Empire of Chasuble reached its peak in military strength and technological advancements. To display the Empire's prowess, he authorized the creation of the 13 imperial arms. These relics serve as bulwarks of the Empire, defending it from threats. The arms were crafted from the rarest materials and oddities collected from across the realm. Master Dwarven blacksmiths forged them, while high elves impaled each with potent magic. Each artifact had unique characteristics and supernatural abilities. For a time, they stood as symbols of the Empire's unquestioned dominance. As time and war took their toll, by the era of the War of the Crown, only 7 of the arms remained in Imperial hands. The others had been lost, stolen, or seized by the rebels. Both Averio, the Empire's strongman, and Escena II, the young Emperor, parry one at all times. Now, with Averio and Escena attempting to crush the continent's growing rebellion, the stage was set for a brutal contest. While earlier episodes examined the regional conflicts in Western Sergia, we now turn to the wider political map of the continent. As we know, multiple rebel states were established as the Empire's authority weakened. To combat this, the Empire, headed by Averio and the young Emperor Escena II, had put ludicrous bounties on the most powerful, prominent, and dangerous rebel leaders. But who were these men bold enough to defy the Empire? Let's take a closer look. Among these were Cornelius Carter, Apressa, and Fendrel of Noxborn, figures are rare familiar to us, but many others emerged as major players in the struggle. Canazialis, Jewel King of Mithril Kingdom, once the Duke of the Mithril region, his rise was driven not just by ambitions, but by his deep hatred of the Empire. The Mithril region was one of the most economically significant territories on the continent. Even before rebelling, its vast mines yielded Mithril ore, a rare and prized material for its exceptional strength. Outside the dwarves, only Mithril could supply it on a large scale. This monopoly brought wealth and leverage unmatched by other dukedoms. When Canazialis declared independence and established the Mithril Kingdom, he secured control over this vital resource. The new kingdom quickly became one of the wealthiest nations on the continent. Nuso Ravenous, the 34th chief of the Tepiras, ruled a land renowned for its martial discipline and warrior culture. Inspired by the ideas of strength and unity, his leadership upheld the traditions of his ancestors, ensuring Tepiras remained a formidable power despite its modest size. Herdan Lerma, once a scholar of Chasuble, turned the destitute tribal region of Grossly Nikan into the first experiment in collective revolutions. Inspired by radical new theories of equality, he rallied peasants, workers, and outcasts, uniting them under a banner of rebellion against the imperial nobility. Grossly Nikan became not just a political entity, but an ideology, spreading quietly among the oppressed. King Cat, once the governor of the Lacemation province, a region inhabited primarily by cat people, gained prominence through his defiance of Grand Duke Averio, revered by his subjects. He led a successful rebellion that culminated in the founding of the Kingdom of Catalan. As monarch, King Cat earned a reputation for benevolence and loyalty to his people. However, his rule was also marked by deep prejudice against the dog people. He openly declared that they were undeserving of human rights, a stance that defined interspecies relations during his reign and cast a shadow over his otherwise respected leadership. At the center of the Leonian province was Napoleon II of Taurus, ruler of the Taurus Dominion. Born in 960 in Taurus, Napoleon II was the son of Napoleon, transmigrated into this world after his father's defeat. Beginning life as a peasant in a different world, he relied on the knowledge of his former world to steadily climb to power, eventually seizing control of the fortress of Taurus. Amid the empire's turmoil, he declared independence and expanded his dominion by capturing the cities of Leonian province. Through these campaigns, Napoleon II transformed the Taurus dominion as one of the major powers of Serbia. Identis Ignigra Phoenix, king of the Ignigra kingdom. The origin of the Phoenix clan who ruled Ignigra can be traced back to ancient times. Long ago, a small and humble clan lived by the cliffs of the Chasuble mountain range. Their lives were simple until calamity struck. The clan was wiped out in a single night, leaving only one survivor. The young, fleeing into the depths of a cavern, stumbled upon something extraordinary, the lingering essence of the great Phoenix, one of the 4 heavenly beasts. Long departed from this world, he absorbed its power and was reborn as the first Phoenix born, a man who carried the flame of the divine birth within him. From that moment, he laid the foundation of a new lineage, the Phoenix clan. Generations passed, and the clan's name grew brighter with each century. By the reign of Emperor Constantine XI, they had risen to the very heights of nobility. Their prestige was unmatched, symbolized by their guardianship of one of the 13 imperial arms, the Phoenix Bow. As the reign of Grand Duke Avero began, the Phoenix clan of Ignigra grew disillusioned with the empire. Once among its most exalted noble houses, the Ignigra rejected imperial rule and proclaimed their own kingdom. These were the great players in the War of the Crown. Each sought to topple the empire, but each also sought mastery over Serbia itself, resulting in constant fighting between these factions. Under Avero's order, male loyalists prepared the army and set out to combat the rebels, eager to claim the bounty for themselves. Among them was the Holy Order of Battle Sages, one of the Empire's most elite forces. The order traced its origins to the Arailax Empire, the Empire's former arch-enemy. They guarded the secret, the Arailax, enchant technique, painful rituals that transform ordinary men into superhuman warriors, and crafted powerful weapons. Their leader, Grand Commander Giovanni Glazeheart, carried the Sword of Strength, one of 6 great swords of Serbia, hailing as the most destructive sword of the 6. The blade could level a hill and vaporize men by the hundreds. Not only the Swords of Strength, the Order also had in their possessions one of the imperial arms, the Dragon Collar, forged from the body of the great fire dragon Azamir. The collar granted the user monstrous strength and even allowed them to take the form of a dragon in battle. Its current holder was the vice commander of the order, Sage Mobili. In 1000, the Phoenix Bow was stolen from the royal family of the Ignigra kingdom. Deprived of its most powerful deterrent, Ignigra found itself vulnerable to external threats. Hearing the new tidings, Giovanni Glazeheart confidently led a strong battle-siege army into Ignigra. King Adetis Phoenix responded by sending most of his troops and asked his neighbor, the heirs of Muria, for help. The Phoenix clan and the heirs of Muria were not true allies, but both share a common enemy in the empire. Because of this shared interest, High King Tandil agreed to send men to support Ignigra. two armies met near the town of Arailax. The Order had 10,000 veteran battle sages who formed tight, disciplined ranks, their chant technique making them a force to reckon with in combat. Heavy armored, they struck with precision, resisting blows that would fail ordinary soldiers. Opposing them, Ignigra fielded 23,000 Ember infantry and 2,000 Muriorian archers. With the sound of the war horns, the infantry line surged forward, colliding with a roar of metal and shout. In fierce hand-to-hand combat, the battle sages' enchanted strength quickly gained them the upper hand. Despite being outnumbered, they steadily pushed back the Ember infantry. But then the Muriorian archers joined the fight. From their positions on elevated ground, they unleashed volleys of arrows that struck the battle sages with precision, slowing their advance and tipping the scales toward the defenders. The Ember infantry seized the moment, pressing forward and regaining lost ground. At this critical point, Sage Mobiri transformed into a massive dragon. He saw over the Ember infantry lines and descended upon the Muriorian archers. His flamed and aerial assault scattered the elves, neutralizing most of their support and causing heavy casualties. Seizing the opportunity, Giovanni Glazehart charged into the fray. He tore through the front ranks of Ember infantry, killing hundreds of guards with each swing of the Sword of Strength. His path of destruction cut directly through the middle of the battlefield, pushing soldiers aside as he advanced relentlessly. Giovanni reached the rear where the Phoenix General Arailax commanded the troops. With a single devastating strike of his sword, he cleaved the general and his bodyguard in half, destroying the enemy command and leaving the remaining Ember infantry in complete disarray. With their leader gone and their formation silent, the Ember infantry stalled. By the end of the battle, the Order lost half their battle sages, but they brought down 80,000 of the Phoenix forces and 1,000 Elven archers. Arailax had been won, leaving Ignigra weakened and vulnerable for the next campaign. 3 months later, the Order of Zezaria, one of the fellow loyalists, sent substantial reinforcements to the Order. With them, Giovanni advanced on Embergate, the Igniran capital. In the siege of Embergate, the attacker posted an army of 11,000 Zarian men-at-arms, 8,000 battle sages, headed by Sage Mobiri and Grand Commander Giovanni Glazehart. The defenders held 9,000 levies. Under King Adatus and his sons, reinforced by 2,000 Muriorian Elven Wardens. the best unit of Muriel, commanded by Elkil the Moonless, one of the 5 elven nobles of Muriel. The siege of Embergate began with a direct assault on the eastern gate. The Zarian infantry stormed the walls, while the battle sages hammered at the fortifications. A fierce struggle erupted across the battlement. As defenders fought to hold back the imperial tide, from the rampart, Elkil's Muriorian archers rained down volleys with deadly precision, cutting down attackers by the hundreds and stalling their advance. Mobility transformed into his dragon form. He destroyed the eastern gate with tooth and claw before taking to the skies, aiming to scatter the elven archers. But this time, the elves were ready. Elkil, the commander, loosed an enchanted arrow that pierced Mobility's skull, killing him instantly. The beast crashed into the city streets, shaking the ground as the imperial army lost one of its most fearsome trump cards. Through the shattered gate, the battle sages surged inside, and what followed was chaos. Street to street, wall to wall, the defenders and attackers clashed in brutal melee. Fire spread, smoke filled the alleys, as both sides fought desperately. Casualties began to mount at a rapid rate. In the midst of fighting, Giovanni Graceheart confronted King Anatis and his sons. In a vicious duel, Phoenix Clan members were all massacred by the Grandmaster. Yet the Second Phoenix Fire inflicted grievous wounds on Giovanni, leaving him weakened. At that moment, the elves re-entered the battle. Their deadly precision once again cut down Imperial troops. Injured but undaunted, Giovanni fought his way toward the elven lines, easily cleaving through the wardens, who themselves were no slouches in his path. But Elkil met him head-on, holding him in place. Shrouded, Giovanni was struck by volleys from every side until his body was riddled with arrows. The commander of the battle sages fell. His death breaking the last resolve of his warriors. While the Zarian infantry fled in panic, the remaining sages gathered in one place to make their last stand, choosing to go down with their leader. By noon, the fight had ended. The defenders of Embergate stood victorious amidst the wreckage of a once resplendent city. Seeing Ignira broken and his strength spent, Elkil deemed the Phoenix Clan unfit as Muriel's ally. He withdrew his heirs, taking with him the dragon collar and the sword of strength. Leaderless and abandoned, Ignigra's citizens quickly surrendered to the Empire by the next spring. The battle sages at last found victory, yet the cost of this triumph was immense. The Order lost not only tens of thousands of hard-to-replenish battle sages, but also its greatest champion, Giovanni Glazeheart, and its most prized artifact, the Sword of Strength and the Dragon Collar. For centuries, the Order had never been this weak, and it would not be long before the other rebels took notice.